TV3 sports cameras have returned to the Pug Williams Gymnasium at Roselle Park High School. Tonight, we'll be watching sectional championship wrestling in North Jersey, Section 2, Group 1. The Roselle Park Panthers will host the New Providence Pioneers. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Roselle Park. I'm Paul Spahala. With me, Jerry Saxel. And Jerry, not only is this one for the sectional championship, but this is a rematch of a match that took place earlier in the year, where if, as goes to form tonight as it did last time, New Providence took a huge lead, but not enough to keep the Panthers away.
Paul, I was privileged to be at that match. It was an excellent high school match. New Providence had a 27-0 lead. To the best I can figure, it's probably the largest lead any team has ever had on Roselle Park in their history of wrestling. Park came back for a victory. I think we're going to see a similar situation tonight. The strength of New Providence lies in their lighter weights with an outstanding wrestler, Wilder. In the heavier weights, Roselle Park has that nice balance, some good lightweights that could pull upsets, but their strength comes in the middle weights and in the upper weights.
Top 5 weights for New Providence in dual meets have only one loss among the 5 wrestlers, and the wrestler we're going to take a look at right now is the number 5 man in that order, a county champion, Norm Spagnola.
We talked when we were here last about the injury to Patterson of Roselle Park and what the doctors had done there. You're looking at Norm Spagnola, who again injured his arm severely a year ago in a final football game. Pins, plates, the whole bit, has come back and had an outstanding season this year, a great county championship. Again, by the grace of the doctors, we have 2 athletes on the mats tonight that might not have been there 10 years ago.
Well, one athlete who also will take the mat this evening, also as a county champion from last weekend's tournament, is Pat McCafferty of Roselle Park.
He wrestled such a nice tournament. He had tough competition. He had a tough match in the finals. He dug down deep when he had to dig down. He had a wonderful championship. So we have 2 men that you featured at the beginning of this show that are fine wrestlers to watch, and both fine young men, too.
2 outstanding coaches also. We have Gary Bremer of New Providence, who is named the County Coach of the Year, and a coach at Roselle Park in Sam Appella, who loves to maneuver that lineup around and make things work for the Panthers.
And within the last couple of years was also County Coach of the Year. So 2 great coaches, and again, both have weighed enough young men in tonight to make our job a little bit tougher on camera to see if we can pick the right person out there on the mat that's going at a particular weight class.
The winner advances in the state tournament to meet the Section 1 Group 1 champion. When we continue with our match this evening, the Panthers and the Pioneers from Roselle Park High School.
TV3 brings you the best of local programming. If you haven't tuned in lately, look at what you've missed. So be sure to watch Suburban Cablevision's TV3.
We are at the Pug Williams Gymnasium at Roselle Park High School, named, of course, after the longtime coach of wrestling here at Roselle Park. And as we have said through the many years that TV3 has been here, wrestling is not just a sport at Roselle Park. It is a tradition that they have been very, very successful at. The New Providence Pioneers would like to break that string of success with a win this evening, and the man who's going to hope to do that with a little maneuvering of his own, and hopefully as well, there's not too much you can do now once the kids get out there, but Gary Bremer will be the man for New Providence sending them out there, and Sam Appello in the middle of the team lineup for Roselle Park is the head coach of the Panthers.
And you see one of the advantages right now of the Park team. They weighed in a number of people and warmed up half of the school, where New Providence is somewhat limited with 16 people out for the sport, and the chance of playing around a little bit more goes to Park tonight.
Ken Hart on the left, Vinny Russo on the right. Those are the officials for this evening's contest, and we will start it off at 103 pounds, where John Saxel, who you see on the screen, a sophomore from New Providence, will take on Vin Kovacs, a freshman from Roselle Park. So Saxel and Kovacs here at 103, and the sectional championship is underway.
Both boys work to the edge of the mat.
And as they go off, I will just briefly mention, to no surprise to anyone, yes, that John Saxel is indeed the son of our announcer, Jerry. And he's enjoying a very successful season again, 20-2. And it is Saxel who gets the early start with the 2-0 lead.
And on a barrel roll, unable to hold Kovacs onto his back for any points. Hooks a leg on top, looks to work legs, trying to get points out of the legs, and does get a count.
2 on the back point, so it's a 4-0 lead for Saxel.
Kovacs out in front. It's at these weight classes that New Providence must pick up 5 or 6 points in almost every bout to be in the total match. They were able to do that the first time with Coach Appello being the fine coach he is. He sent these first boys out, I'm sure, to try and give up 3 or 4, but not the 5 or 6.
And as Jerry said, 27-0 lead for New Providence, but the strength of this Roselle Park team does come later. So if we see that occur this evening, it is not over yet.
Saxel bars an arm, works Kovacs over to the back again. Kovacs scooting out on the side, though. Saxel not quitting on the move. Has picked up 2 more back points to make the score 6-0 in this first period.
Less than 1 minute left in the period.
And again, what Saxel has to be careful of is getting pinning combinations that are tight pinning combinations for falls, not necessarily ones that are simply going to pick up back points. Again, he has the legs hooked. He has the double bar over the head, a good pinning combination. He has 12 this year. That now makes 13.
So the pin comes at 127, and New Providence has taken the 6-0 lead.
And we won't make him walk home tonight.
And the 2-time county champion from New Providence, as Jerry just mentioned, his 13th pin, and the Pioneers have taken a 6-0 lead through 103 pounds. We move up to 112, where Manoj Patel will take on Tom Warnke. Warnke of New Providence, Patel from Roselle Park.
Warnke on a nice single, gets his takedown on the edge of the mat.
Good work. Patel almost off the mat. Warnke pulled him back on, and you have to expect that from a young man who's 19-4 this season.
Very fine job in the counties, wrestling back to a 3rd place. He has a cradle locked in. Patel has to try and fight that a little bit more. Warnke is going to be able to sit with it and get some points out of it. It's Vinny Russo making the call now. It was Hart making the call at the first weight class. And again, a fast fall by Tom Warnke.
33 seconds it took for Warnke to record the pin. And here is the combination that he used.
When Patel was unable to break that cradle early on, he was in trouble. Warnke had that shoulder popped on the outside nicely, and he gets the inside one through very, very rapidly. Nice balance, keeps his opponent there, picks up the fall, and 6 for New Providence.
12-0 lead for New Providence, and Jerry, already the wheels are in motion. Here at 119, Frank Tarantino has come out on the mat for Roselle Park, and he will be taking on Jose Herfano for New Providence. So right away, Sam Appello making some moves. We expected to see Tarantino at 25, but he has now dropped down to 19.
And as we said, this is the advantage as Jose Herfano moves in with a nice double, gets his takedown. This is the advantage that Park will have as we move further on. Those watching at home have to know that this is to be expected with these early weights with New Providence. Park is not upset sitting over on the side now. They expect it. They feel that they can come back as they did the first time, and it's going to be New Providence's job to try and break that string.
And very similar to the match we did here just about a week and a half ago, where Cranford took an early lead in the bout, and then Roselle Park cut into it, and eventually won going away pretty much at the 171 when Patterson had his win.
Fano locks on that near leg, tight waist.
Fano, the third straight sophomore that Gary Bremer sends out. 2-0 lead for Fano here in the first minute of the first period.
Fano wrestling, again, a very, very fine county championship, losing by 1 point in the finals to Paco Gonzalez of Westfield. So, again, starting out with a champion, a third place, and a second place finisher here for New Providence in the early weights. Tarantino, though, coming out in front, but being taken to his back by Fano, getting the back count. Nice balance, has both arms tied up. It was almost like Fano allowed Tarantino to come out in front so he could set up that little bit of a drop. Tarantino, a nice job of getting to his stomach to prevent the fall.
3 back points, 5-0 lead for Fano. With just 19 seconds left in the first period. Tarantino will take a moment to readjust his headgear. Fano, 18-2, took a second in the Union County tournament last weekend.
Tarantino almost away. Fano holds on to the leg. Paul, I think of all of the wrestlers that you will see tonight on both clubs, when coaches talk about natural ability, Jose Fano has more than, I believe, any wrestler that we'll see go in the varsity match tonight. He does things that coaches can't teach. He simply does them at the right time with the right kind of balance, good hips, a little bit of a meanness streak in him. I don't know whether we'll see that in this match against Tarantino, who's a formidable opponent for him, but he's a very natural wrestler.
Fano with a 5-0 lead through period number 1. And quick note, TV3 fans, scheduled to be on a few weeks ago, Doug Graber, the Rutgers coach, had to cancel. He will be joining Matt Laughlin this coming Thursday, March 5th at 6:30 live on Sports Talk.
Fano with a short sit to the front, should be able to come for points here. He's going to set up a little bit of a Peterson roll if he can. Tarantino doesn't give it to him, but he comes in and takes it anyhow. So he's going to end up with that roll and going to get his 2 and get more from it if he can control the head. He now has the head. He now has his reversal. And if he can get Tarantino to his back, he's going to have his fall. Good control on top. Good camera work showing the fine arch by Tarantino, but the good control by Fano on top. Blades are now coming down. Fall is going to occur if he doesn't change his pinning combination. Great camera shot. Great fall by Fano.
2 minutes, 48 seconds for Fano. And Jerry, you are right. He is a hard worker out there. He showed a lot of skill.
He worked very hard for this move. Tarantino did all he could to fight it. Fano is not ready to give up that move. He lost the head, but you see him scoot back, take that head and lock tight on it.
So it's an 18-0 New Providence lead, and as we anticipated, once Tarantino moved down to 19, Mike King has moved up to 125. So it will be Matt Warnke from New Providence taking on Mike King of Roselle Park.
And you have 2 outstanding wrestlers here at this particular weight. This could be a swing match. New Providence must have Matt Warnke win this match to give them the points they need. King wrestled an outstanding county championship, losing again to Gonzalez by just 2 points. He wrestled a very fine tournament. 2 good wrestlers out here, very evenly matched. Whichever young man is on tonight is going to walk away the winner.
Warnke is, of course, the older brother of sophomore Tom Warnke, who we saw up at 112. And a warning given to Warnke.
And I think for the first time in the first 4 bouts, we see a little more tension out here. Our first warning being given, both wrestlers knowing that one bad move and a 4-point move against one might sew the matchup early. King on top, King with the front headlock, King with the control. Warnicki attempts to sit for a second time with a little bit of a pull on that arm, unable to get underneath.
Still no score.
Warnicki shoots, loses balance. Nice move by King. Somehow Warnicki keeps the balance and doesn't give up the point.
They're off the mat, still scoreless. 33 seconds to go in the first period. Warnicki 17-4-1. Again, the top 5 wrestlers for New Providence. Overall record 94-13-1.
Warnicki, beautiful ankle pick. Can he get the control with time running out? He's able to do it. He gets the early lead, 2-0. King needs to get him off those legs. King has to be able to get squared away. He's able to do that.
Yes, Michael.
King comes up on top, gets a reversal on the buzzer.
Got it with about 2 seconds remaining, so we will head to the first break with the score 2-2 between Matt Warnicki and Mike King. Mike King, 16-6 this season. He finished 3rd in the recent Union County tournament.
Wrestlers with 16 wins and 17 wins, 33 wins between the two young men out in front of us right now. We saw that, a lovely takedown and a fine reversal with just 1 second to go by King.
And no doubt about it, this is one of those swing matches. Again, the strength of New Providence in the lower weights. Roselle Park, their strength will be coming up later. 18-0, our team score at this point. New Providence with the lead after 3 consecutive pins.
Warnicki attempting to hook a leg. King comes behind, takes the lead with a good reversal.
4-2 lead for the Roselle Park wrestler.
Warnicki a little duck under. Warnicki almost up behind. King stays with him. Fine job by both wrestlers on that exchange. Warnicki stepping across, getting 2, putting King onto his back. A count of only 1, no back points.
We're tied at 4. And a full Nelson. Penalty point against Warnicki, so it is a 5-4 lead for King.
Just the kind of match that should be expected here. Step across by King. Warnicki holds on to the leg, preventing the points from being scored.
Warnicki's still in control. He's got that leg.
King almost off the mat, almost had a fresh start. We'll try and do that now. He'd like to be back in the center, and he's able to do it.
41 seconds left, second period. 5-4 lead for Mike King. King is sophomore, Warnicki is senior. Well, we mentioned the youth of New Providence starters for Roselle Park. Kovac's a freshman. Patel was a senior, but then we had a pair of sophomores in Tarantino and King.
And I've watched King's progression from last year to this year. I see him next year and as a senior to be one of the outstanding wrestlers on Roselle Park's team. Matt Warnicki rides the 2-on-1 through the crotch, still keeping his control. He does have that 1 warning in the first period. He's going to have to look for some kind of a tilt here so that he's not called for riding parallel on top. He does not need to fall behind after that full Nelson by another point. King's moving well on bottom, and Warnicki on top.
$18 seconds left, second period.
Warnicki out to the side now. Forearm still tied up. Possibly a little bit of a weight difference beginning to show now. Stalling called on the bottom. The stallings are evened up. Again, for the second time, though, Warnicki throws legs and almost gets into trouble with them.
Second period will end with King still in front, 5-4. Each wrestler has been warned once.
Now the difference has been that full Nelson put in by Matt Warnicki.
Get it. More wrist, Mike. No.
Warnke reaches back for a headlock. Not much there, but he is out in front, trying to control the hand. King stays with him. Warnke comes and faces, ties it up.
5 apiece, 1:27 left in the third and final period.
And we see tension with both coaches on both benches right now. I think both are well aware of the importance of this match. Park feeling if they can steal this win at the beginning, the match should be theirs. New Providence feeling if they can get the win, they're on schedule for the points that they need.
You almost get the thought that New Providence would be content to go out of this with a 2-2 draw.
King makes the shot. Matt Warnke is going to have to make a shot. He had the warning in that first period. He did the nice ankle pick. He's going to have to think of something like that again so that there's no call. Hart and Russo both willing to make that kind of a call. Warnke attempts to spin behind. King locks on a leg though.
45 seconds left.
King in a position of advantage for a while. It's Warnke that has the front headlock now. It's Warnke that spins, comes behind for the 2. Now it becomes a matter of smart wrestling by Warnke. He can ride as long as he can. He can give up 1. He can attempt to put him onto his back as he's going now with the power half. And he does put him over. The question is, will he get just the victory? Can he pick up more than 3 points for New Providence? Fine job. Matt Warnke could have given up 1 and looked for a 1-point victory. He's looking for the fall.
10 seconds.
King has to fight it. He has to fight it. He's almost going to come up behind for points. A wonderful exchange, both wrestlers here at the end of this bout.
10-5, the final score. Matt Warnke winning and picking up 3 points for New Providence. But you can almost see it on Warnke's face, a little bit of disappointment, but he was so close to ending this one with about 15 seconds to go. Give a lot of credit to King to fight this one off.
No question, for both wrestlers. 5-5, all of a sudden 7-5. Warnke was not content to be safe here. He works very hard on that power half and far wrist. King could have quit on the back. He didn't quit. A fine job here by both wrestlers.
So it is 21-0 New Providence. We move up to 1:30, where Norm Spagnola will take on Bob Zaglarski. Spagnola and Zaglarski at 1:30.
Zaglarski, a nice wrestler. Spagnola coming in, though, as county champion. Again, the young man we talked about on our opening, Paul. Tremendous comeback for his football season and for his wrestling season this year.
Zaglarski had a huge victory by pin at 1:30 in the match we televised against Cranford. Spagnola 20-1 this season, Union County champion. A couple of fall sport athletes out here. Soccer for Zaglarski, football for Spagnola.
Spagnola with that early takedown and control for 2. Zaglarski, though, coming around behind, looking to tie it up, and does so.
Tried to roll through. Zaglarski controlled it. 1 minute to go, first period.
Spagnola with the short sits coming out in front. Zaglarski up with legs, but not with good control. It should be 1 Spagnola. And he goes with a lateral drop. He's going to get 2 from it, but was unable to put Zaglarski on his back.
So it's a 5-2 lead for Spagnola. A lot of fight left in Zaglarski to get 2 back. 5-4.
Spagnola wrestling a little sloppy on top. Zaglarski, nice moves on bottom.
31 seconds to go, opening period. 5-4 lead for Spagnola. We've seen a lot of action here at 1:30.
Spagnola short sit. Zaglarski, nice job of following. Zaglarski with a half end. And a far wrist tied up.
Off the mat with 10 seconds to go in the first period. We're wrestling here at 130 pounds. New Providence with the early 21-0 lead. Zaglarski with a very good season so far, 13-7, fourth in the county. One of the many captains on this Roselle Park team.
Zaglarski riding from the opposite side. Seems to have thrown Spagnola off a little bit. Riding nicely these last 10 seconds of the first period.
So 5-4 is the score at the end of the first period. Spagnola in front. To keep you up to date on all the happenings on the local high school sports scene, join Rob Matola for the Suburban High School Sports Report every Thursday evening at 7:30 and Fridays at 7:30 right here on TV3. 5-4 Spagnola lead. Pair of seniors wrestling here.
This was a weight class in the dual meet where 6 points was picked up to make it that 27-0 lead. It is 21-0 now, and Zaglarski doing a very fine job. It's Spagnola that has to move on bottom and try and pick up the 6 for his team. Even 3 might not be enough here.
Of course, if we got the 227-0, then Yogi Berra, of course, would have to say it's deja vu all over again. Sam Appello looking on. Obviously, he does not want to see 27-0 again. Now remember, Roselle Park on paper would be a stronger team this time around because of the presence of Dave Patterson.
Without question. Nice short sip by Spagnola. He's in lock on the double. Can he carry it through for more than the 1? Just the 1.
So he takes a 6-4 lead. And they're off the mats.
To the best of my knowledge, both teams off from school this week, Paul. I look at Norm Spagnola, seems to be a little more tired than I'm used to seeing him. One wonders if the weight was up a little bit this week. Did he have to lose a little bit more weight? A little tougher when the time is your own. He's called for backing and hit by official Hart for stalling. A warning.
First warning of this bout. And you are correct, both schools had the week off.
Spagnola with a nice move. Not only a move for 2, but the kind of move that Zaglarski couldn't allow to happen to take this bout out of reach. A lot of time left in this period. He's taken Zaglarski down to his back, a double into a trip. He comes on top. He twitchers the legs. It's a matter now for 50 seconds. Can Zaglarski fight the pin off? Spagnola not arching that back, allowing Zaglarski to turn into it a little bit. Arm now barred. Spagnola in better shape than he was a second or 2 ago. It's like Mike King earlier. When King was able to fight that move for a while, can Zaglarski do the same?
26 seconds to go.
Talking about an 11-4 score if no fall occurs when this exchange is done. Zaglarski going left and right. Spagnola trying hard on top to arch and get the fall. Zaglarski still fighting it.
And time runs out on Spagnola, but he does get the 3 to make it an 11-4 score through 2 periods. And now the question is, what does Zaglarski have left? He had to put up, about 1 minute and 15 seconds on his back fighting off the pin. We're late in the season. Sometimes it means you're better conditioned. Sometimes it means you're tired from a long, long 3 months of wrestling. We'll find out in the next 2 minutes.
Spagnola will take some chances, I would think, with that 11-4 lead to put Zaglarski over again. Zaglarski's job now is to look for a mistake by Spagnola. If it comes, if not, to simply give up the 3, at the most 4, to New Providence.
Remember that for most of these young men, Roselle Park did qualify for the football playoffs. Warning on Zaglarski. For most of these young men, the season started at Thanksgiving. It's been a long season.
A nice cradle put on by Spagnola after the warning to Zaglarski. Zaglarski gets out of the circle to break the cradle.
11-4 lead, 1 warning each wrestler.
Coach Appello telling Zaglarski, don't let that head go near the knee. Keep moving. Don't stay down on the mat. An attempted tilt.
And Zaglarski breaks free for 2.
One given neutral and
Right,
a
three.
2-point reversal on the takedown to make it 11-7. Zaglarski very happy with that score right now to be where he is.
Under 1 minute. Good call by Ken Hart to call the neutral, then the quick reversal, 11-7. Gary Bremer.
Great shot of both coaches.
And both coaches calling out the signals from the sidelines.
Intensely into the match as you would expect from 2 quality people. Spagnola, no move on the bottom. Gives Zaglarski a chance to tie him up. Short sits, Zaglarski follows each time. Riding parallel on top, 1 point green. The Roselle Park wrestler must work for the fall.
12-7 advantage for Spagnola. Right now still a 3-point decision.
Spagnola's going to need 1 and 2 or a 2 and a 2-point move to move this to a 4-point decision. Right now, Zaglarski very happy with it being just 3. Zaglarski hooking an arm, looking to work Spagnola to his back.
Warning against Spagnola. 1 point, Zaglarski.
Zaglarski running the bar, running that bar, loses the far wrist, allowing Spagnola not to be turned. It's a 4-point difference right now.
So the match is ended with Spagnola winning by a final of 12-8.
And it will be interesting to come back, Paul, if this should turn out to be a match decided by less than 3 points, whether that fall at the end of the second period was as important as it might seem now.
So Spagnola walks off the victor, but Zaglarski walks off knowing that he only gave up 3 instead of 6. 24-0 the team score at this point through 130 pounds. And now the 5 strong top wrestlers for New Providence are gone. Dave Pfister will be coming out onto the mat for Roselle Park, for New Providence, excuse me. So a bit of a change there for New Providence. They've sent out Dave Pfister. And Chan Ma has come out for Roselle Park. So it is Pfister and Ma.
And it's Ma that moves in, does a couple throws. We're seeing 2 less experienced wrestlers out here. We'll see some moves that we wouldn't have seen in those first 4 weight classes. And yet the points that go up on the board, Paul, are as important as the ones that were earned by those first New Providence wrestlers.
Another one of those swing matches that we spoke of. As you said, 2 less experienced wrestlers.
Ma in on a single, switches it to a double.
And Ma takes the 2-0 lead. Chan Ma, a junior, is 4-5 this season.
Pfister just a sophomore. Dave Pfister now in the position that Zaglarski and Tarantino and some of the other wrestlers were from a Roselle Park, to continue to move. He has been hit for stalling, to maybe give up 3, to try not to go to the back and give more than 3. The official's even aware of that. The Park wrestler almost pulling Pfister on top. Pfister steps across, Ma follows.
Trying to step again. 35 seconds to go, first period.
Kind of match ball that could end very rapidly if either man went to his back here.
Pfister rolls through. Yeah, he's through.
And only a 1 count. Roll through on that 2nd count.
Warning against Pfister again, which means a point for Ma. He takes a 3-0 lead. 7 seconds left in the period.
And if we hadn't sat here with Ernie Zuberer 2 weeks ago, we'd be very relaxed for the New Providence wrestler. But we do know that if he does not move down there, it would be 1 point, 2 points, and a DQ.
End of the first, 3-0 lead for Ma. Now, of course, each team match is a separate entity, but when you compare 24-0 to 27-0, on one hand for Roselle Park, you'd have to be sitting there saying, hey, we're 3 points better this time. Ma comes back for the 2. Starting to turn Pfister.
That was a nice half Nelson. Pfister attempting to roll through. Manages to get off his back. And this is what we talked about. Goes from coming off his back to putting Ma onto his back. Pfister without the experience in being able to keep him there, but hits a cradle. All of a sudden, 8-2. I don't know whether there were back points for Pfister. It looked like he had Ma there long enough to pick up back points, and he did. It is now an 8-4 score. So Pfister got 2 for the reversal and 2 for the back points, forcing a cradle in front. Somehow not only forces it, but manages to come through with it, and has it locked pretty tight. And pins him. What we said could happen here.
Look at that New Providence
whoever
bench.
went on to their back could get pinned.
The New Providence bench is going wild.
Whether they win or lose, that's a tremendous win for Dave Pfister, a basketball player last year, stolen by the lightweights to come out for the team this year. A cradle that looks like there was no way that he could ever turn that into a regular cradle, and he does. He comes over top, brings it through, locks the outside shoulder. Ma comes off the first time. Pfister brings him back, blades down. Can't see it with the headgear down, but gets the fall.
New Providence 30, Roselle Park nothing. And now if you look at it from the New Providence side, they have added to that 27-0 from last time.
Dave Pilley out from New Providence, or Doug Pilley.
Taking on Pat McCafferty. So again, a little bit of maneuvering going on by the coaches. Pilley, a freshman, taking on McCafferty, a junior, a county champion.
And so we are pretty much aware of the outcome of this particular bout. It will be 30-6 at the end. That is taking nothing away from Doug Pilley. He's a very, very nice freshman wrestler, but he is against a county champion who knows that he has to work for the fall. He will not put pinning combinations on to get a 5-point decision for Roselle Park.
And now we can expect to quickly jump ahead, Gary Bremer to start bumping some of his guys up. We expected to see Lance Feldhune at this weight. We're not. Does everyone get bumped up a step? We'll find out as we go along.
Cradle locked by McCafferty, a nice tight cradle inside shoulder, still up by Pilley. McCafferty content to stay here for a while, take something out of Pilley, gets the leg underneath so that Pilley can't rock. McCafferty will come out either with the fall here or with the 5-0 lead if he switches his pinning combination.
Still a lot of time, 33 seconds.
Pilley would be very happy to have a few more of those cradles put on if he could keep that shoulder up and give 5 points to Roselle Park, and that's what he's going to attempt to do as this bout goes on.
So it is a 5-0 lead with 14 seconds left in the period. 5-0 lead for McCafferty. Unbeaten in 21 matches, 20 victories and a tie. County tournament champ.
He may be our only undefeated wrestler on either team tonight. I hadn't thought about that. There may be someone else, but it lets you know the caliber of competition these two teams have gone against. There are a number of fine wrestlers, but they've been in outstanding tournaments, and some of those losses have been picked up in tournaments, not in the dual meets. Hart looking to see if he's going to hit Pilley at all on the bottom for stalling. He does not. First period is over.
So it is a 5-0 lead for McCafferty, and Jerry, you are correct as I quickly look down the list. Everyone else has at least 2 losses as I quickly check. Well, Spagnola with 1. No, this is the only unbeaten wrestler that is left on these two teams.
And he becomes the spark now, too. It's not just the Park is sending a wrestler out onto the mat that should win, but they're sending somebody out who's as good as any that they have. A nice arm bar here. He will start to walk it to the head, and he does just that. He has at least his 3. He's going to have more than that if he keeps the nice balance that he has now. Pilley keeping the right shoulder up. McCafferty doing all he can to force that blade down. Fine job of Pilley trying to bridge. But McCafferty getting the fall.
2 minutes, 36 seconds for Pat McCafferty. And the Panthers are on the scoreboard.
And the intelligence of a McCafferty. He didn't go for the cradle this time that he couldn't pin with. He does the nice bar. He's going to walk towards that head. It's the kind of pinning combination that he's going to have his opponent in greater difficulty and flatter, and a much better chance of pinning him. Nice fall for the Park wrestler.
And that is the team score. New Providence 30, Roselle Park 6. Mike Susik and John Nitchie here at 1:45. So Susik for New Providence, Nitchie for Roselle Park.
And it's Nitchie in on the nice double. Taking the 2-0 lead.
Get him on the mat, John. Take your time. Control.
Again, it's the junior against the freshman. And it's beginning to show already a good half in with the far wrist. Nitchie working that bar very, very hard to get his opponent over.
Keep on going. Lap hook. Throw him over your lap, Jonathan. Throw him over right there.
Suzik somehow still fighting it. Leaning in, not going over onto his back.
Throw him across your lap, John.
Gets the half Nelson off.
Right there. Go now.
Nitchie with it back in again, no.
Keep on going.
Driving.
Only amount of time when the shoulder keeps out, John. Right there. Go.
The officials looking at that arm and where the shoulder was for potentially dangerous. No call on it.
Good job, John.
Nitchie had a big pin the last time we were here against Cranford. Came at 133. According to some of the Roselle Park people I've spoken with, he's been a very versatile wrestler. They move them around a little bit. As you can see from his record, not only versatile, but he's come through 10 times this year.
And again, you see someone like John Nitchie who's been moved, Paul, against some of the better wrestlers on other teams so that Park could guarantee certain victories. It's nice to look at that 10-6 and say it's just a good record, but you forget how many times he's been asked to take on the toughest competition of the other team. He goes on the far arm. He gets Suzik onto his back. Suzik near the edge of the circle low. Arm still barred. Nitchie works him back into the circle with the deep half. He has to watch that arm. That arm being bent out of position there. That's a tough position. Unusual not to see a call there. That arm was very potentially dangerous. There's the fall.
It took 1 minute and 51 seconds for John Nitchie to put Roselle Park back on the board. 30-12 our score. We'll be right back.
Earthwatch, a local view, the show that addresses your environmental concerns. Incineration, air and water pollution, landfills, recycling, it's all here. A new topic every month on Earthwatch, a local view. In March, our guest will be Department of Environmental Protection and Energy Commissioner Scott Wiener to discuss the environmental state of the state. Call our studio and give us your opinion. Earthwatch, a local view, live March 3rd at 8 p.m., only on Suburban Cablevision TV3.
We return to the first few seconds of wrestling here at 152. An early 2-0 lead for Keith Appello as he takes on Mike Bottolato of New Providence. So Appello of Roselle Park, Bottolato of New Providence. Our team score, New Providence 30, Roselle Park 12.
Bottolato making the shot. Appello doing a nice job of spinning behind to take the 2-0 lead. Bottolato explodes and comes behind for two. Appello relaxing on top a little bit. The last time these two young men met, it was a very easy win for Appello. A 4 or 5 point decision for the Roselle Park wrestler. It's Appello that comes in again. Bottolato steps across, moves her outside of the circle.
At the edge, still tied 2-2, 1 minute left in the period.
Appello, who never stops moving in his bouts, been impressed with his conditioning. The fact that whoever wrestles him has to go for that full 6 minutes. It's Appello sitting short, Bottolato staying with him. Bottolato on top, must move out to the side. Stalling on top, good call. Both officials being very consistent with their calls for stalling.
2-2 our score, a warning to Bottolato, his first. Keith Appello took a third in the county tournament, 18-3 record.
Nice short sit by Appello. Catches Bottolato, puts him onto his back for a count. All of a sudden, the 2-2 score becomes 6-2 Roselle Park. Bottolato with the head on the mat. Official Hart down, looking carefully at that. Same thing, Appello staying parallel on top. Whether the coaches or fans like it, great consistency. I see Coach Liberata sitting near me tonight from Parsippany, shaking his head in agreement with that. I see Coach Myron from Milburn in the stands across the way. A number of coaches are here tonight watching the wrestling, knowing that we have two fine teams hitting head-on.
It's the only game in town. There are other TV3 area teams wrestling, but they are on the road.
Right on the buzzer, a tilt, but only for one count.
So it's a
6-2 score, second period, Roselle Park.
All right, so that's the way it will stay. 6-2 for Appello.
Great shot of the concentration by Keith Appello on bottom. He sits short. He comes behind Bottolato. He gets his two for the reversal. He gets hit in the eye. It's going to be 2-point reversal, 1 point neutral. Not up on the board yet that way, unless they're going to give just 1 point to Appello for the neutral.
While we have a moment here, let's talk about the other TV3 area teams that are in competition this evening, fighting for sectional championships. As it turns out, in North Jersey Section 2, we have at least a representative in all four of the groups. Well, let's start in Group 2, where Caldwell will take on Jefferson. In Group 3, the Belleville Buccaneers travel to Phillipsburg. In Group 4, Westfield is up in Randolph. The other TV3 area team that is wrestling this evening is South River. They're meeting Manville. And we'll mention these other two bouts in Section 1, Group 1, Powell Park, Waldwick. And in South Jersey, the Battle of the Boroughs, Glassboro and Paulsboro. We mentioned those last two not because, of course, they involve TV3 area teams, but because that is who the winner of this evening's bout between New Providence and Roselle Park has got to be concerned with as they step on in the state tournament. 9-2 our score. Appello with the 7-point lead.
Nice takedown by Appello. And Paul, those scores that you put up, or those teams you put up, Everyone is the underdog going into their matches tonight. This is the only one we can be assured of that a winner will come out of this particular bout from our area.
That's true. All the others were seated lower, although there were some upsets in the first round.
Battleotto faces his opponent, takes a leg, moves behind 9-4. That does not seem like big points now. 9-4 down by 5, but that's what Battleotto has to work for now. He has to look for his win. Appello needs to get more than 3 for Park. Battleotto forces the cradle and gives up 1 point as Appello comes out in front.
59 seconds left, second period.
It's Appello that has the distinct advantage on the feet. He's gotten 3 takedowns so far. He moves in on the single. Battleotto stays on toes. Appello still getting nice balance. He's going to come away with 2 more. Battleotto holds the leg. Battleotto not giving into that 2 yet. Appello is hip to hip, cradling up. Now Appello in nice shape, gets his 2, and is going to get more than 2. Not only does he have a cradle, he has a tight cradle. Both shoulders are popped through. We can see it from where we sit. A high bridge by Battleotto, a great cradle by Appello. It's a matter of time now. Good job of coming off the back, but 3 big points for Roselle Park on the near fall.
15-4, and that will do it for the second period. So a 15-4 advantage for Appello. And now he's got to be a little bit careful because his next move has got to be a pinning move, or he's only going to get the 5 points.
And we were just looking at a 9-4 score, and all of a sudden a neutral, a takedown, and a beautiful cradle for 3 points makes it 15-4. 2 good teams going at each other very, very hard, just the way we expected tonight. There's the 1 for Appello. He's right back in on that leg.
12, the takedown would make it 14, and now if he starts to get back points, he's got to be sure that they are pinning back points.
It is the 14-point spread now. Will he give 1 and get the takedown to get the technical? Will he look to put him over and try and stick him for the 6? It looks like he's going to stay with him, work that bar, and look for 6. Crowd maybe is knowledgeable. They'd like stalling on the bottom. What they don't realize that that's going to end the match, and that's not necessarily what Roselle Park wanted. That's an advantage for New Providence.
So the final score, 19-4 for Keith Appello, a winner by technical fall at 4:41. So it will be 30-17 in favor of New Providence. And it will be Emilio Badalamenti taking on Anthony Barra here at 160. So Badalamenti for New Providence, Barra for Roselle Park. 30-17, the team score.
Distinct advantage for Roselle Park here on record.
Barra 15-1. He takes the early 2-0 lead.
Barra, the number 1 seed in the Union County tournament, and injured and unable to wrestle in that tournament.
Work your moves. Control him. Control him, Anthony.
Badalamenti, the longer of the 2, with a very, very fine cradle.
Work it to the crotch.
Barra, the more experienced of these 2 wrestlers, even though he is only a sophomore.
Stay behind.
The danger with New Providence being stronger in the lower weights is that now the fans will start to get into it as Roselle's Park starts to creep in. And we have a nice crowd here this evening at Pug Williams Gymnasium.
Badalamenti stands nicely, gets his 1-point neutral, goes for a headlock, hip throw. Barra behind for an easy 2.
4-1 lead.
Park with the advantage coming up at heavyweight. Park with the advantage coming up with Patterson. New Providence with the advantage coming up with Wilder. This is still one heck of a match to go with the bouts that follow at 160.
And we're looking at the possibility of a 30-29 score headed into the final 2 bouts.
That's correct.
Which you say on paper look to be 1-1. So we are certainly in for a great finish here at Pug Williams Gymnasium.
Barra hits a cradle right off the whistle. Good hard crossface. The length of Badalamenti allows him to break it, but he keeps reaching back for the head. That's going to be an advantage to Barra before this is done, because as he reaches back, Barra will have him on his back with a good half.
The sectional championship is at stake here as Roselle Park battles New Providence. The Pioneers with a 13-point lead, 30-17. Again, the winner will take on the winner of Palisades Park, Waldwick. That's being contested this evening in Waldwick.
Barra anxious, moves into the front, allows Badalamenti to grab a leg and move where he's in a position of advantage. He needs to get his right arm through, not the left arm that he's moving, but the right arm to shake him off. Barra would like to hold and get a stalemate out of this. Badalamenti reaching up towards the head. New Providence fans would like to have seen that one go a little bit longer, but it was a stalemate position.
18 seconds left, first period. Barra will start on top.
Caution on the top man, coming too far across the body. Barra with the half and again. Again, the length of Badalamenti helping prevent that move. Badalamenti coming out in front, almost getting points, but will run out of time.
So the first period will end with the score, Anthony Barra 4, Emilio Badalamenti 1. This weekend we'll head to the basketball courts at Essex County College for an ECT semifinal as Irvington takes on Seton Hall, a rematch of a semi from last year. You'll be able to see this one Sunday the 23rd at 3 and Tuesday, February 25th at 9 o'clock here on TV3. 4-1, Barra with the lead here at 160.
We talked about the cradle that Badalamenti has, and he rushes it too rapidly, and they come to their feet. 1 point, Barra, neutral. Paul, this is coming close enough as a bout that every point is important. The 3 points that we think back to at 130 with Zeglarski and with Uspagnola. Barra with the Badalamenti on his back here. New Providence cannot afford to give up those extra points, and Park needs to get them. A very fine job by Barra putting Badalamenti onto his back, and a nice job by the New Providence wrestler coming off. And coming off maybe for points, but Barra doesn't give him. A good leg throw.
10-1 lead for Barra. As we said, there's the possibility it will be 30-29 going to 189. Anything less than 30-29, of course, is in New Providence's favor.
Barra out in front, cross knee pick, and again, isn't content with the 2, comes right up, locks the arm, gets his 2 and his 3. 1 point neutral.
10-2. Still plenty of points for Barra to play with.
Beautiful duck, and Badalamenti continues to hold the head. Releases it now. Barra should have moved a little harder to get him over onto the back, but now puts a half in. Has his count, has another 2. We're looking at a 14-2 score. There it is.
Badalamenti working towards the edge. Neither wrestler has been warned. We'll think about that as we have 47 seconds to go, second period. So it's a 12-point margin right now.
Again, the Park coaches imploring Barra to look for a half. Take him down to his back.
He's going to go with the optional start, give up the 1.
Do it again, Anthony. Do it again.
Badalamenti reaches. but is off balance with that reach. Barra, front headlock, looking to soak up, but running out of room on the edge of the mat.
30 seconds left, second period, 14-3 Barra.
King, a sophomore. Tarantino, the sophomore. Barra, the sophomore. This is a young team that at one point was 3-2. And that New Providence match earlier this year, coming from that 27-0 deficit, has turned them around to a team like New Providence. And to go on to Paulsboro, not only does he lose the takedown on that headlock hip throw again, but Badalamenti puts himself onto his back. It has to end here one way or the other. Barra not giving up on those back points. If he got his 3, he has his technical.
He's got the 3, period will end. And that will do it at 19-3. Barra with the win. The tech fall coming at the 4-minute mark. 30-22 now the team score. Paul Mooney and Nick Raucci will be out on the mat here at 171. So a bit of maneuvering by both coaches again. Raucci moves up to 71, as does Mooney.
So we will see Patterson at 89, and the question is, did Coach Bremer think ahead and weigh Wilder in at 90 so that he has the option of going 89 or heavyweight against Villani? You have 2 of the weaker wrestlers on each team here, Paul. We've had a couple weight classes with that, and we can see that on the exchange again. And when I say weak wrestlers, I don't mean poor wrestlers, those of you at home, just weaker for the teams they're on. These teams don't have the records they do with bad wrestlers on their team. But the bout again could be decided by 2 young men throwing each other onto their backs. A takedown and a neutral. 2-1 New Providence.
2-1 lead for Raucci. Raucci is 4-10, but in his last 2 bouts, a pin at 17 seconds, a pin at 51 seconds.
And we said it in the Pfister bout back at 35, when he was trailing and came back with that extremely important pin for New Providence, which either of these young men puts the other guy on his back, we could see the fall occur.
Mooney, a junior, 6-7. Raucci, a junior, is 4-10.
Raucci shoots a single, goes flat, comes up with it though. Mooney sprawls. Mooney in some trouble now. Raucci has to move that leg. Mooney doing a good job of getting it down and staying on his feet.
A lot of action. 43 seconds to go, first period. Mooney, 6-7 this season. We expected to see him at 160. We're up to 171 right now.
It's Mooney that makes the nice move, hits a single, goes to a double. Getting his control on the edge of the mat, gets his 2.
And Mooney now with the lead, 3-2. .23 seconds left, first period.
Raucci stands. Mooney locks onto a leg. 15 seconds to go. Raucci almost out. Mooney staying tough on top.
10 seconds left, first period. And Raucci is going to ask for the injury clock to start. He is pointing to his side. Now, it's possible that he fell on his hand and then actually, in essence, punched himself in the stomach. I thought at first he was pointing towards maybe a finger that got bent back, but then when the coaches came in, he was definitely pointing at his side.
As he came down, it almost looked like Mooney's fist might have been underneath. Might have been underneath that rib cage area, and he came down, took the wind out a little bit, caught that bottom rib. Seems to be okay. 10 seconds to go.
And very wisely, Vinny Russo goes over to the scores table, finds out about the injury time. If I read his signal correctly, that would be 53 seconds worth.
Mooney, tight waist ankle. Raucci Reaching back into him, can't put himself onto his back. Mooney would like that very much.
And then also after Russo went to the scorer's table, he went to each coach, the referees, and you got to give them both credit again, Vinny Russo, Ken Hart. They know the importance of this bout. They know we're more than likely going to go down to the wire, and the referees just wanted to make sure each bench knew, hey, this is how much time ran off, and that's how much he's got left.
They've worked beautifully together as a team of officials in our bouts tonight.
This is, I believe, the first year of this concept of having 2 referees for the sectional final. I would guess it's going to be studied after it's done. The 2 we've had tonight, as you said, have worked well as a pair.
Money well spent by the state from what we've seen this evening. Hopefully around the state, other people are feeling as positive as we are tonight. Both wrestlers with half shots on the feet. Neither wrestler can afford to make that one bad move. Either wrestler could afford to lose a bout and still keep their team alive. They can't afford to go and give up the big points. Mooney locks a beautiful cradle on in a pinning combination and gets the fall.
Paul Mooney with the pin at 2:43, evens his record up at 7-7.
Right on the edge of the mat. Ryuchi could have gone off Mooney. A super job of picking on that leg. He knew where he was, and he brings the New Providence wrestler back into the circle, locks it tight, gets his fall.
And interestingly enough, Jerry, let's jump ahead. We have a forfeit at 89. As Dave Patterson walked out, a forfeit gives Roselle Park the lead. And now New Providence will roll the dice at heavyweight as...
Here we come. We have Brian Wilder
taking on Nick Villani.
You're talking about a very solid heavyweight for Roselle Park. You're talking about a very fine 89-pounder for New Providence. A runner-up in the county, but giving a lot of weight away. Can the move by the New Providence coach pay off here at heavyweight? A win is not enough, folks. It would be a 34-33 victory for Park. Wilder has to get a 4-point victory, or a 5 or a 6. If it turns out to be a tie, there is criteria. Number of wins by each team in the bout, number of falls, number of technicals. Wilder in on the leg, but Villani using the weight well on top.
Well, Jerry, just to let you know, this would be, and we're assuming Wilder won, this would be New Providence's 7th win. So if we go to criteria, New Providence would have 7 victories, 7 bouts. Gary Bremer has decided to let it ride here on his senior, Brian Wilder, 18-4.
P.J. Dowling, the normal heavyweight for New Providence, a nice wrestler, a sophomore, but a first-year wrestler, and so not taking the shot with Patterson going against Wilder. It comes down to heavyweight.
Double stalling.
Villani needs to use his weight, be able to sprawl. Wilder has to attack from the side. Can attack head on. Good small man, good big man. The Providence wrestler should be looking snaps, arm drags, moving a big man.
And again,
good
double
call.
warning.
Good call.
Point each way.
May not seem like much now, but if one wrestler should have the other down with the weight on top later today in this bout, that could become an important point that each has been hit by a point already.
End of the first period, 1-1 our score. Brian Wilder and Nick Villani. Villani 7-8. And I could believe that this is what Wilder was waiting for, the start on the top.
Doesn't have any confidence in defeat, so he needs to be able to break a Villani down and work some bars on the bigger man. Smaller man can turn the bigger man if he can get him flat. He just has to get him onto the mat Villani doing a nice job of staying up onto his knee. When he stays up there, Wilder's in trouble.
Just a quick thank you to our spotters. To my right from Roselle Park, Mike DeMeo. And to your left,
We got a little guy by the name of Greg Saxel, so he's done a nice job for us for New Providence.
so we thank our two spotters for helping us out here this evening. 34-30 our score. Park leads for the first time tonight.
The key comes down to Wilder getting Villani flat. Villani not allowing it to happen. Wilder not chopping that arm, not squeezing on the waist. Wilder moving from side to side. Wilder locks a cradle. It's a good cradle. He has Villani over. He has Villani flat. And he has the win for New Providence. What a tremendous finish for these teams. Great strategy, not much to say, shown on the faces of the wrestlers from New Providence.
The pictures say it all, as Brian Wilder was put out on the mat by his coach, and as you said, Jerry, with the 4-point difference, was told you just can't win, you've got to win big. And Brian Wilder waited his time, went through the first period deadlocked, and then he waited for this move, and he got it tight.
And look how tight it was, folks. You may never get that move again in a match. Every coach that coaches this sport says you're going to get one shot at it. Wilder had it. I take nothing away from Villani. He wrestled a super match until that point, but if you look at that cradle, it's as tight as it can be. A tremendous win by Brian Wilder, well deserved by him.
And that will make the final score of this evening's match. New Providence 36, Roselle Park 34. The Pioneers are the North Jersey Section 2 Group 1 champions, and they will advance to the state semifinals. We will advance to our post-game show right after this.
Homelessness, substance abuse, youth and AIDS education are a few of the human service areas in which the Black United Fund of New Jersey has made a positive impact. Hello, my name is Cecil Bridgewater, jazz musician and educator. Since 1980, the Black United Fund of New Jersey has been standing behind the black families, giving hope and strengthening the family character. You can become part of the Black United Fund's effort in making a positive change in your communities. Support and contribute to the Black United Fund of New Jersey.
Final score of the sectional championship wrestling match this evening, New Providence 36, Roselle Park 34. It was a great match throughout this evening, and there were certainly a couple of key bouts all the way through for New Providence, but certainly one of them had to be with a big lead for New Providence. Dave Pfister, the coach, sent you out on the mat. What did he tell you to do?
Well, at first he told me I wasn't going to wrestle, because after Norman went out, I asked him if I was going to wrestle. He said probably not. And then he said keep on warming up. So I kept on warming up, and then a few minutes later, he came over and said, "You're wrestling." So, and at first I thought I was going to wrestle McCafferty. So he just said, "Don't get pinned." And then when I saw the other kid come out, I knew I had to win because I got pinned in the last meeting, and that cost us a match.
It was a close match. What eventually turned the tide for you? What kind of opening did you finally find to get your pin?
Well, first I was wrestling bad. I wasn't wrestling good. I wasn't moving. Got hit with a couple stalling points. And then I turned him around, tried to get him in a headlock, but he got out of that. And then I just went to the cradle, which I get most of my kids in, that I pin, and I just went from there.
Great team victory today for New Providence, but you guys always know that you get a great start from your lower weights, and that is something you had all season long, the big early lead.
Yeah, that helps out a lot, the big early lead. It takes some of the pressure off the older kids, upper weights, because they can just go out and not worry about trying to pin and being under pressure like that.
All right, Dave, congratulations. Huge pin, huge victory for you and the team today. Brian, step on in here. Brian Wilder. Brian, first thing I got to say, we didn't get a chance to during the bout. You've been a little bit under the weather of late with the flu. How do you feel?
I feel better now. I didn't have any practice Monday or Tuesday, and I just came in fresh Wednesday night.
First period was a little bit of a dancing match out there between you and Villani. Were you waiting for the start of the second period to get the top position and make your move?
Well, I just didn't want to shoot underneath him. You know, he's a big guy, very big. Coach just told me to take it easy, not really get underneath him, keep outside.
You got in the headlock there real tight, and I don't think he was ever going to get out.
He's pretty strong, though. I mean, it's kind of hard because I always had short arms to get in the cradle, but coaches told me to work the CrossFit series, and I listened.
When did you know that you were going to be bumped from 89 to heavyweight? When did the coach tell you?
Bus ride here.
What were your thoughts?
I was happy for it. I haven't wrestled heavyweight for about a year since last year when I cut down 40 pounds to get down to 89. And I was kind of excited being the last match again.
And Brian, final thing, did it make any more pressure on you knowing that down 4 points, you couldn't just win, you had to get some kind of big decision?
Not really. My teammates took a lot of pressure off of me. You know, they just said, just win, you know, do your best. I mean, a lot of size advantage. They just said, go out and wrestle like you know how.
All right, Brian, thanks very much for coming by. Congratulations on your victory. Gary, coach. Gary, congratulations. Tremendous victory for New Providence Wrestling.
It was absolutely super. I apologize. I have no voice left tonight.
Very understandable.
The kids have been working all year long. This has been our goal since the middle of the summer, and we don't have a lot. We only have 16 kids in the whole program, but they've been really pulling together, and they've really come about as a team.
And I know it probably has not been a goal just since this summer, but probably since about, I think it was 88, a big win for Roselle Park against a very young New Providence team. And from what I've been told, that score is up in the locker room.
I saved that score from that year. We came out of the counties, and we had a pretty good team, but our good kids lost to their good kids. Our county champ was sick and wound up tying. That was the only points we scored. I kept that article, and I kept the box score, and this year I pulled it out. I enlarged it and I put it on the wall before our first match. And I told the kids, I said, you know, you're part of a tradition. And the kids that came before you are all pulling for you. You need to help pay back for what has been done to this team and a lot of other teams. We haven't beaten Roselle Park since the sectionals in '83 when we won them. I wasn't with the program at that point, but they did it then and the kids did it this year. They did a really nice job.
I'm not going to force you to lose your voice. I know you need it for Saturday, but I will ask you one final thing for a quick comment. When you decided to move Brian up, and he mentioned that you told him on the bus ride over, did you at that point envision that the forfeit at 89 would put your team down 4? Or were you hoping to be a little closer at that point where a win could have gotten you, not just the fact that he had to get the major win?
I was happy with the fact that if Brian could win by 8 or more, it was a tie, and we would, you know, we were in the match at that point. I had confidence in Brian. I had confidence in David. I put him out there. You know, I did tell him, stay off your back if you can do that. You're doing us a favor. But while he was wrestling, I know he's a first-year sophomore. He's never wrestled before this year, but shows a lot of promise. And while he was wrestling, we got through the first period. He has a really nice cradle. Well, I was saying to myself, David, if you do it once in your life, lock it up this match and do it just once. And he did it. And Brian did what he had to.
Coach, congratulations. Save your voice for Saturday. You're going to need it for the state
Thank
semifinals.
You very much. Thank you.
All right, the New Providence Pioneers do advance to the state semifinals. And Jerry, it was really everything we had hoped this match would be. The big early lead for New Providence. We all knew it was coming, but the big victory by Pfister turned the tide and gave it that extra advantage.
Well, we'd like to always be able to write a script that comes out like it did tonight so that the people at home would stay interested until the final bout. It really is the thing that dreams are made of. You're talking about an 18-4 wrestler, second in the counties, with tremendous pressure. He's 18-4. He goes against a 7-8 wrestler, but he's a heavyweight. So people expect the pin or the good win, and he does it. There's tremendous pressure on him. You're talking about a 1-8 wrestler. Pfister was 1 win and 8 losses varsity. And his pin, again, at that weight, just gave that little impetus as far as New Providence was concerned. All the points were of equal value, but those two stand out tonight. Park has nothing to be ashamed of. They have come back beautifully this year. Their coaching staff, their wrestlers showed class on the side and afterwards going over to the New Providence wrestlers. But tonight is the night for New Providence, not Roselle Park.
Talking to the New Providence fans after the bout, just before we started the postgame, they said just beating Roselle Park was important to us. Not just the fact that it was the state sectional final, but beating Roselle Park, just like beating Randolph in football, St. Anthony in basketball, Elizabeth in baseball, just beating Roselle Park was a huge victory for this program.
And that's a wonderful comment for Roselle Park, their fans, their coaching staff, and their tradition. It's nice to walk into a gym and be booed a little bit. Peaburg is booed. Jefferson is booed. Randolph gets booed. There were some years we got booed when I coached at Milburn. That's a nice compliment. And the thing is, it means that everyone shoots for you. It makes it tougher for Park to win. They've handled that tradition beautifully for all of their years of wrestling. In Puggy Williams' gym, a man who's meant so much to the sport, They'll be back. They'll be in this final again next year. They're young.
And the districts are coming up this weekend, so there might be some meetings later on down the line. But for the New Providence Pioneers, it is on to the state semifinals, where they will take on the champions from North 1, Group 1. For Jerry Saxel, I'm Paul Spahaloway. Thank you all for being with us. And again, the final score of the sectional championship in Section 2, Group 1, New Providence 36, Roselle Park 34. Good night, everyone.